Have you ever wondered why billionaires can't stop flashing those insanely expensive wristwatches? We're not talking about just one, but entire collections that could buy a dozen Ferraris. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain on the watch obsession that grips the world's ultra-wealthy. Buckle up, because when you get to our number 3, you might just be convinced to pick up your own luxury watch or at least daydream about it. Ready to jump in? Let's go. Number 1. Time as a status symbol. Now, one of the biggest reasons billionaires go gaga over luxury watches is because these tickers have long been a status symbol. Imagine you have all the money in the world, you have private jets, and you've already got homes on every continent. So what else is left for you to splurge on? Definitely an iconic watch. It doesn't matter if it's a Patek Philippe or a Rolex, these brands literally rings the "I've arrived" bell louder than ever on your wrist. Normally, in the billionaire social circle, wearing an exclusive watch is a next level statement. And let's not forget the subtle flex factor. Some timepieces are so understated, yet so impossibly expensive that only other watch connoisseurs recognize their true worth. It's like an elite secret handshake for the top 1%. But if you think it's all about flashing logos and dropping jaws, hold on to your diamond-studded bezel. There's another angle to these high-ticket timepieces that might just surprise you. Number 2. Investment value. For many billionaires, that gleaming watch is more of a legitimate investment than a fancy accessory. Certain limited edition models can skyrocket in value over time, especially if there's a compelling story behind them. Let's put the spotlight on the elusive Paul Newman Daytona. This is a Rolex so sought after that it's fetched multi-million-dollar prices at auction. It's more like a secret hedge fund strapped around your wrist, except it looks way cooler than a spreadsheet. However, the trick is to buy the right watch at the right time. This means not reading watch blogs, but also having a finger on the pulse of the collector's market. And let's be honest, you've got to have deep pockets to play this game. And talking about playing the game, wouldn't you love to know what else these watch-loving tycoons are after? Don't blink yet, because we're about to spill it all in number 6. Number 3. Exclusivity and rarity. When you're rolling in billions, the idea of exclusivity becomes gold. Usually, the rarer a watch is, the more captivating it is to billionaire collectors. Some brands only produce a handful of pieces per year to maintain their aura of scarcity. A watch might have a unique dial color, a movement so complicated only a few master watchmakers can assemble it. In a world where just about everything is within reach of unlimited wealth, rarity is the new currency. Nothing says I'm in the club like owning a watch so elusive, even your fellow billionaires have it on their bucket list. It's the ultimate bragging right, except you might not actually brag, you just discreetly flash it and whispers do the rest. Number 4. A legacy piece. Luxury watches often become heirlooms, passed down through generations like treasured family artifacts. For the ultra-rich, it's a way to blend personal style with family heritage. Let's say you buy a top-tier watch today, wear it for years, then hand it off to your kids who do the same, and so on. 50 years from now, that watch could carry not just its original value, but the story of your entire family's ascent. It's like leaving a permanent fingerprint on time itself. We're also in an era where everything is digital and fleeting. So for billionaires, collecting these legacy pieces is a way to anchor a part of their identity across generations, ensuring that long after they're gone, their watcher name still commands respect. Number 5. Celebrity and brand partnerships. If you've ever seen your favorite Hollywood star or sports legend flaunting a luxury watch, it's often more than just a fashion choice. Big brands like Rolex, Audemars Piguet and Richard Mille partner with A-listers to amplify their exclusivity. And guess who's sitting in the front row, ready to snag those timepieces the moment they drop? The billionaire crowd. These partnerships drive up the hype, creating massive demand and, you guessed it, higher prices. For a billionaire, shelling out 6 or 7 figures for a watch that's been endorsed by a legendary tennis champ or worn by an Oscar winner is par for the course. After all, what's $1 million when you can say your watch shares the wrist of an icon? On the flip side, what if I told you it's not just about rubbing elbows with celebs? Turns out there's a whole other reason billionaires are obsessed with these watches. Want to find out? Keep watching until number 10. Number 6. Unmatched craftsmanship. These watches are like tiny miracles of engineering. Imagine hundreds of itty-bitty parts all put together by hand by people who've been doing this for decades. It's like they're building a mini universe inside a watch. Actually, some of these watches can do wild stuff like track the moon, tell time in every time zone, or even measure your heartbeat. That's why it goes beyond owning a watch for billionaires. It's more like owning a Mona Lisa for your wrist. So yeah, it's not just a watch, it's a masterpiece you can wear, and for those who can afford it, totally worth it. But what happens when this love of craftsmanship collides with good old-fashioned competition? Welcome to the next level of watch mania. Number 7. The competitive collector's circle. Let's paint a beautiful scenario. You're at a private dinner, everyone's got a net worth that defies imagination, and you casually glance at the watch on the next guest's wrist. It's a piece you've been eyeing for years. Instantly, that collector's itch flares up and you say, I need that or something rarer. This scenario is just a glimpse of what goes on in these elite circles. In fact, collecting watches can be almost as competitive as a yacht race in the Mediterranean. They aren't just after the watch itself, but chasing the prestige that comes with having secured something others couldn't. Auctions become battlegrounds, with final hammer prices hitting stratospheric levels. It's a rush, or can you call it a game of one-upmanship? And for someone with billions at stake in corporate deals, outbidding a rival on a vintage watch might be the sweetest little victory of all. By the way, if you're enjoying this dive into luxury watches mania, make sure to subscribe right now. We explore high-end lifestyles, investments, and ways to elevate your game. You don't want to miss it, trust me. Number 8. Symbol of control over time. Time is the one resource you can't buy more of, right? Well, a luxurious watch is a billionaire's attempt to harness time and dominate it. When you're wealthy enough to shape global markets and influence political discourse, controlling time itself seems like the next frontier. Of course, no watch will actually give you extra hours in a day, but that precious ticking on your wrist reminds you and everyone else that you're the master of your schedule, destiny and empire. It's a little bit of existential flex and literally screams, yes, I control everything around me, including how I measure my minutes. Number 9. High quality materials that last. Usually, these watches are built to last for a long time. You'll find them made in sapphire crystals that resist scratches and even precious metals that stand the test of time. These high-end brands use top-tier materials to ensure their products remain pristine for decades. It's the difference between something that breaks after a year and something that can be passed on for generations. Billionaires, with their keen eye for value, appreciate objects that outlast trends, recessions, even entire civilizations. Okay, maybe that's an overstatement, but you get the idea. If you can drop 100 grand on a watch that still looks flawless 50 years later and might even appreciate in value, that's a kind of luxury that justifies the price tag. Number 10. The ultimate flex of passion. At the end of the day, billionaires can buy just about anything, so when they choose to build extensive watch collections, it's more about genuine passion than arrogance or investment. These timepieces embodies personal taste, artistic intrigue, and even an emotional connection. Some billionaires get swept up in the thrill of discovering a new watchmaker or supporting an emerging brand. Others fall in love with the history of established masons. Undoubtedly, passion is the intangible fuel that makes a wealthy collector's eyes light up at the sight of a newly acquired piece. Money may open the door, but it's the love for the science and art of measuring time that truly keeps these collectors hooked. Now that you've seen what makes the world's richest folks go wild for those luxury watches, you might be hungry for more insights into how the top 1% operates. Want to find out how to build wealth like the top 1%? Well, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, keep your ambitions running like a Swiss movement.